Okay, so we're Group 8, and the city we are going to be talking about is London, England. My name is Aditi Shanava. My student ID is 207-845-62. I'm studying International Business Management with Marketing, and the topic I'm going to be talking about is general information on London.
My name is Alistair John Saldana. I am currently studying Accounting and Finance. My student ID is 206-88208. I will be presenting Business Etiquette in London.
My name is Grigory Samoilov, and I'm currently a student of Business Administration. My student ID number is 20796088, and I'm going to talk about the lifestyle in London.
I'm Mohammed Sakawat. My student ID is 207388093. I'm a student of finance, and I'm going to be talking about key phrases that might be useful in London.
I am Mira Sangani. My student ID is 2076218. I'm a student of Business Administration, and I'll be talking about leisure in London.
Okay, so to begin with, I'm going to talk about the general information on London, and first, the location. London is located in the southeastern part of England. The city of London is the capital city of UK. It is one of the world's oldest cities and Britain's largest cities. Next, please. Population. London is a city well known for its beauty. It is home to several people from all over the world. Due to its diversity of its population, you can find restaurants from all over the world. The population of UK is estimated at 64 million, and London's population is now approximately at 9.5 million. Next, please. Tourist attractions in London. As I mentioned in the previous slide, London is a very beautiful city, and it is a very popular destination for tourists. Some of the famous London landmarks are Big Ben, Tate Modern Museum, Borough Market, London Eye, and Oxford Street. Next. Structure of London City. The City of London is divided into various different districts, but it is mainly split into two sections, the northern London and the southern London. The North London includes cities like Camden, Ealing, King's Cross, Hampstead, etc. And South London includes cities like Kingston, Merton, Bexley, Greenwich, and Croydon. Next. Culture of London. London is one of the most visited cities in the world, as it offers something for everyone, whether it be from history, culture, food, and various different activities. In 2020, London was recognized as the city of ideas, as well as an art and culture innovator. Next. While researching about London, I found some interesting facts that I thought I would share. The first fact that I found was over 300 languages are spoken in London. The two mice statue is the smallest statue in the UK. It's nothing great. It's just two mice fighting over a block of cheese. London, according to the definition of a forest by the United Nations, London could technically be a forest because of its greenery. Big Ben isn't actually called Big Ben. The tower was initially named as Clock Tower, and in 2012, in honor of the Queen, they named it after her, the Elizabeth Tower. Big Ben is just the name of the bell inside the clocks. I find this quite hard to believe, but London has more Indian restaurants than Mumbai, which is a city in India, which is very well known for its food. And the last point is UK isn't the only country with a city named London. There are other countries such as USA, Canada, and France. Alistair will take it on from here.
Thank you. I will be taking over business etiquette in London. When we first look at the etiquette, you have to consider what you're wearing to work, or rather your business attire. The culture and nature of your job greatly affects what kind of dress code you have to wear. In case you do not have an idea of that, it is always better to go with conservative clothing or formal wear rather than anything casual, as sometimes people may be irked by it. Always wear formals for business meetings. This is a norm. It has to be done unless stated otherwise. Business occasions. Business occasions include formal meetings and presentations that may take place in your office. It is always recommended to come on time. People greatly value time in Britain. Therefore, be punctual. Always better to come a few minutes earlier rather than coming late. In case you cannot make it into time for whatsoever reason, it is better to inform in advance. Also remember that London is a city with heavy traffic. If you're there in the beginning, especially during your first few days, it might take some time to be accustomed to it. So you make use or take note of the tunnel systems. There are good underground tunnel systems in London. You can make use of that in case you feel that taxis and all can take more time. Every meeting in London has a specific agenda, which means the business meeting has a plan and has to cater to that. Time for AOB or any other business may or may not be allocated. There is usually an exchange of business cards in London. It is common courtesy to accept a business card if you are offered one. Also, do not feel bad in case you do not get a business card, as not everyone will have a card to share. Social environment in London. When you're meeting someone for the first time, especially your colleagues, it is better to greet with a firm handshake and a pleasant smile. Make sure to give a good eye contact, but do not stare at them or intimidate them. Be welcoming. It is advisable to give people some personal space. Do not get too close to someone unless they feel comfortable, and don't go into hugs or kisses unless you know the person is absolutely comfortable with that. British use indirect commands as a way of being more polite. So, in case your manager says something similar or along the lines of, you may want to do that, he means you have to do that, not that you have an option of doing it or you don't do it. Humor is often used in office and not in business meetings. Maybe among colleagues here or there, you can have a little bit of humor, a fun talk, not for long. But in business meetings, always keep everything formal. Making coffee or tea for colleagues is very common in London. Someone may offer to do it and you can offer your help. This can also help you make friends with that person. There is also something known as pub culture in London, where after work people go to the bar and communicate with each other and get closer. This is also done on special occasions such as a colleague's birthday or um, someone's promotion. At these occasions, it's better not to reject a proposal and go along with it. Otherwise, you may come off as an introvert. If in case you're the one who's doing the inviting for the people, it is always better to pick up the bill at times. Otherwise, you may have some self-depreciating jokes coming your way. It is also a great opportunity to make friends always with colleagues when you hang out after personal working hours. Gifts are rarely exchanged in the office. Please do not exchange expensive gifts. If you really want to thank someone or gift them, maybe you can give them small gifts such as some flowers or maybe some memo from your home country. Pace of work. The pace of work may or may not differ from what you are used to. In case you have a doubt on the pace of work, it's always better to observe colleague behavior or ask them to get an idea of the required pace of work. I will now be handing it over to Gregory.
Next slide, please. And now I'm going to continue to talking about the lifestyle in London. London is famous for its thriving social life, bohemian markets, Oxford Street, great amount of dining places. If New York is called the city that never sleeps, London has the energy to rival the Big Apple. The workers in the city, named business people, play an integral part in creating the personality of the city that London shows to the rest of the world. Londoners themselves, they live fast-paced lives, and it has been this way for hundreds of years. And next slide, please. London is very fashion conscious. Shopping in the city is like a religion. It's an integral part of the lifestyle. Without any doubts, London is one of the world top shopping capitals and capital of fashion, whether shoppers are after the latest design gear, high street bargains, or unique vintage pieces. London has a shopping solution to suit everyone's needs and budget. Oxford Street and Regent Street have every big high street brand a person could wish for. If you're looking for the top designer names, head to the Bond Street or High Street Kensington. For vintage bargains, try Camden Market or Portobello Road Market on Saturday. And the next slide, please. Also, dine out is integral, the biggest part of the London lifestyle. Dine out and the nightlife. Foodies should make a pilgrimage to Borough Market, close to London Bridge, to experience the incredible range of organic foods and homemade produce. Nightlife and entertainment in London is very common within the locals. Nightlife in London is diverse and eclectic, with something that suits everyone's taste, from having dance clubs to having like intimate music lounges, jazz bars at the West End. West End is where there are like endless amount of pubs, clubs, restaurants. This is also the home of the London's theatre district, where people can catch all the major West End productions. And while the Covent Garden is a home to Royal Opera House, classical music lovers should head to the Royal Albert Hall in London, and other theaters include the world-renowned National Theatre, named the Globe Theatre and the Old Vic. Soho is also one of the trendiest places in London to grab a drink after work and socialize, or it's also a home for London's bars and restaurants and clubs. Notting Hill is a synonym of a good night out with friends. As you already understood, the socializing part is integral in London lifestyle. Fans of live music intend to Camden or Clapham or Brixton, while the bars and gastro bars are mostly in Shoreditch and Hoxton and have become popular within London's bohemian crowd. And now I'm going to pass my word to Mirav to talk about the leisure in London.
I'm going to discuss leisure in London. London is known for its great amount of parks, theme parks, water parks. People filled with adrenaline may choose to go to theme parks filled with roller coasters and many thrilling rides for their free time, maybe to de-stress from their busy lives and rush hour. Families can also choose to visit nature parks. They can host barbecues, picnics, maybe a brunch, have a cup of tea with not only families, but friends as well. People can also choose to go for a morning run, a walk with their partners or friends or colleagues. That can also help them de-stress. London Sorry. Next slide, please. London is also well known for great iconic places, locations, and sites. People may choose to go for a boat ride on in the River Thames, have a great river view towards the city. They may also choose to visit the London Isle for a better view, a heighted view to be exact, of the city. Um, Due to London's rich history, there are a number of museums where the history enthusiasts can go visit during the weekends or during the week for educational purposes or just as a free time. Um, the public can also visit numerous cathedrals. London is known to have beautiful cathedrals, and yeah, that will be it. I'd like to pass on to my colleague Sakawat.
Thank you, Mira. So I'll be talking about key phrases that might be useful in London. Every language has its own unique touch to it. Some phrases only a local might understand. British English has a lot of slang and proper accent which might get hard to understand for some foreigners. So I have compiled a few key phrases that might save you from embarrassing moments when interacting with a British person and also adapt to their cultures more easily. From my linguistic research, I have found out that British people might often be quite sarcastic with their wordings, and you might get confused if they are being serious or not, but you will surely get a hang of it in no time. Fun fact, British idioms are not from British medicine. Some basic phrases used in London are all right, meaning hey, how are you? Cheers, meaning thank you. Take it easy, meaning goodbye. And matter of fact, these phrases have totally different meanings in English, as obvious. Furthermore, British people have the tendency of using mate in their sentences, quite often when referring to a friend. And this word can be a hint that the person is either a local resident or a Brit themselves. London embraces diverse cultures, traditions, and languages, creating several slangs such as Cockney, rhyming slang, roadman slang, and unique names for their buildings. Other phrases that might give you the upper hand when visiting the city will be this video. Go to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Donkey's years, a very long time. You have a butcher's. Take a look at something or someone. Minted, meaning rich. Building, meaning fantastic. What a load of cobblers, meaning what a load of nonsense. Fit, good looking. Next slide, please. Throw a spanner in the works, meaning causing problems to prevent something from happening or making something difficult, basically. Don't get shirty with me, don't be disrespectful, and not my cup of tea, not to my liking. Other than their unique slang, when you want to travel using the public transport, you might want to refer to tube instead of metro or train. Do not be surprised if someone says sorry to you for something you haven't even done, as it is in their culture to apologize even when it is not their fault. Geezer is a slang term used to define a man. And in the UK, it means a guy or a person in general. Yeah. For example, the geezer over there in blue coat. It is sometimes as well used as a complimentary phrase. For example, he's a proper geezer. So that is it. That is all you might need to start off your new journey in London and adopt with the locals quickly by speaking as if you were a native speaker while being culturally appropriate with them. Thank you.
That should be it. I think we can stop the recording now.
Yes.